What's up, everybody? Marty Martin here. This is the Geeknik Podcast. I am your host. Okay, now, uh, for the small viewers that watch my content, you were probably wondering, oh, when's Marty Martin going to post a video about the judge tossing out Wade Robson's case against the Michael Jackson estate? First of all, that case is over. That's over. But is it over? I'm very happy that the judge sided with the Jackson estate, saying that, oh, this is bullshit, and saying if Michael Jackson did do it, the state is not at fault at it because Michael Jackson was independent. He owned everything. Therefore, there was nobody to hold him accountable for anything. The estate is not responsible for the individual's actions. So that was really, in essence, the case. But the judge knew that this was bullshit. Overall, the whole allegation was bullshit. Let's check out this article right here before I give my full thoughts on this whole, fuckery right here. All right. This is on the Hollywood Reporter. Says Robson's attorney says he'll take the fight to the California Supreme Court if necessary. Okay, see? That right there, personally, I'm questioning, is this even all over? Now, in my gut is that I feel that this is not going to happen. The Supreme Court is not going to take it. Didn't work the first time, and it sure as hell didn't make it the second time. So why would this continue a third time? And I think the Supreme Court will see this as, small fish. They have bigger fish to fry. This is like, this isn't a big deal. We all know that this is baloney. We all know this is horseshit. We all know that these allegations cannot be corroborated, can't be supported at all, because it's horseshit. It says Michael Jackson's estate has again convinced the LA judge that the late performer's businesses can't be sued by Wade Robson over alleged childhood sexual abuse. But the long-running fight might not be over, as the choreographer's lawyer has already said they'll appeal the decision. Robson sued in 2013, claiming Jackson sexually abused him for nearly a decade, and his companies MJJ Productions and MJJ Ventures facilitated the conduct. The estate, which controls entities, argued it's entitled to summary judgment because the companies owed Robson no legal duty and no ability to control Jackson's behavior. In a tentative ruling, which was later adopted, LA County Superior Court Judge Mark A. Young agreed with the estate that it had no relationship with Robson that would create a legal duty for it to protect him from the alleged molestation. There is no evidence supporting plaintiff's contention that defendants exercise control over Jackson, writes Young. The evidence further demonstrates that defendants had no legal ability to control Jackson because Jackson had complete and total ownership of the corporate defendants. Without control, there is no special relationship or duty that exists between defendants and plaintiff. In addition, there is no evidence of misfeasance, wow, I'm stuttering right now, by defendants. Judge Mitchell Beckloff had previously dismissed Robson's suit in December 2017, finding that it was filed outside the statute of limitations. It was revived by an appeals court in early 2020 after California enacted a law that extended the age by which people must file child sexual assault claims against third parties from 26 to 40. Michael Jackson's estate has been represented in the matter by the late Howard Weitzman and Jonathan Steinspur, who on Monday sent the Hollywood Reporter a statement in response to the decision. As of today, a summary judgment against Wade Robson has been granted 3 different times by 2 different judges of the Superior Court, says Steinspur. Wade Robson has spent the last 8 years pursuing frivolous claims in different lawsuits against Michael Jackson's estate and companies associated with it. Robson has taken nearly 3 dozen depositions and inspected and presented hundreds of thousands of documents trying to prove his claims, yet a judge has once again ruled that Robson's claims have no merit whatsoever, that no trial is necessary, and that his latest case is dismissed. Robson's attorney Vince Finaldi on Monday also sent THR a statement. This decision of Judge Mark A. Young suffers from the same fatal flaws as the prior decision of prior Judge Mitchell Beckloff, which were able to overturn an appeal, says Finaldi. For this reason, we will be appealing it to the Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court if necessary. If allowed to stand, the decision would set a dangerous precedent that would leave thousands of children working in the entertainment industry vulnerable to sexual abuse by persons in places of power. The children of our state deserve protection, and we will not stop fighting until we ensure that every child is safe. Okay, how the fuck are you going to do that? You cannot do that. Okay? If you're going to ensure the safety of all children, then we put every sex offender, every pedophile on the death penalty. That's right, I said it. I said death penalty. I believe that's one of the most effective ways to actually protect children is to put them down, is to put these put these sickos down. But that's not going to happen. No government actually truly gives full punishment to these sickos, these weirdos. Well, sickos more than anything. They always get away. They always get away. I find that very laughable, and there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can do. It is what it is. But with this case with Michael Jackson, most people agree and believe that Michael Jackson was not a pedophile. Has nothing to do with his music, has nothing to do with his celebrity status, because let's face it, there's a lot of celebrities that we all hate and we believe they deserve to go down, such as R. Kelly, such as Kevin Spacey, such as Bill Cosby, O.J. Simpson, or Phil Spector, or recently Armie Hammer, and I'm missing out a lot of other people too. Yeah, I'm missing out a lot. But just to name a few, okay, those people, we know they're pieces of shit. We know that they're evil sons of bitches. Well, many of us still love their work. Just because we may like their work, that doesn't mean we defend those people. But why do we defend Michael Jackson? Is it because he has somewhat of a cult-like status? Well, I think every major pop star or every major public figure, doesn't have to be a celebrity, every public figure has a cult following. I mean, we saw that with Trump, Donald Trump. He has a cult following. Jennifer Lopez got a cult-like following. Every superstar, politician, uh, athlete, musician, singer, actor, director, artist, whatever, everybody has some sort of cult following, and that's not the person's fault. It's usually of the people, and that's natural. It's a natural occurrence. But more than anything, you talk to some of the people that are diehard Michael Jackson fans, they literally have good arguments. They actually they know their shit. You ask them why are they fans of Michael Jackson, it's never going to be really the music. It's going to be about him as the person. And you rarely hear that about a lot of other celebrities. You know, you don't really hear people too much talk about a person's character because most of these people were not open about themselves, unlike Michael Jackson. And the reason why is we all know that Michael Jackson was a good person. The problem is that the whole world saw it as too good to be true. If someone is that nice, that kind, and that loving and giving, there's something wrong with them. That's the mentality, that's the culture we are in right now. We are in a culture that actually is obsessed with people with dark closets and skeletons in their closets and dark pasts. You know, we're obsessed with that. Any good person must have a dark past, you know, but nobody says that. I mean, like regarding Mr. Rogers, almost everybody loves Mr. Rogers. We all love him. But with Michael Jackson, we have been conditioned by the media to actually hate this man because of his weirdness. Do I believe this is all over? I honestly do not. Dan Reed did say that they are filming a sequel to Leaving Neverland, except it was going to be about this case, about the trial or the suit. It obviously didn't go well. Are they still going to continue with this? Because James Safechuck's his was tossed out. Now Wade Robson's is tossed out a second time. I find it very hard to believe this is going to go to the Supreme Court. I find that very hard to believe. So, if it doesn't make it to the Supreme Court, then I believe it is totally over. Because I think what they're going to want to do, they're going to want to do a sequel to the documentary. I don't even know what they're going to cover. Dan Reed said he wants to get Jordy Chandler. That ain't never going to happen. Because there are those wacko fans that do want this guy. They want this guy dead. And if I was Jordy Chandler, okay, I don't want to be involved in that circus. All right. And I find it all pointless and useless that the man is dead. What are you going to do? There's no justice here. Well, you want to cancel him? This is all cancel culture right here. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I guarantee you, if Michael Jackson were alive, he wouldn't be going after him. And if Michael Jackson were alive, I mean, we all saw that Michael Jackson did not want to do a settlement during the 2005 trial. I mean, Michael was fighting it. And I truly believe that Michael would fight against Wade. Not with checks, but with a trial. I really believe Michael Jackson would have challenged him. And he only cut out one check. Only one check. That was Jordy Chandler. All the other people, lies. There's evidence of it. It's not true. When people say Michael was cutting checks, okay, to who? They don't even mention. They just repeat things what they heard or what they saw. They don't do the research because we live in a very ADHD culture where people don't have the time to read, to put hours into research. But they'll say, oh, I don't have the time. You have the time to binge watch Kitchen Nightmares. You have the time to watch 5 hours of Stranger Things. You got a lot of time. You know why I find it very important to educate yourself, to do a lot of research on issues like this, like something that you may misunderstand? Well, the reason why I do a lot of research on a lot of things is because I don't want to be lied to. That's the thing. I don't like being lied to. I want to know the truth. And I'm not going to look for, oh, I want to see if this is true. I want to see if this is false. At the end of the day, I wanted to see the truth. When the Leaving Neverland thing came out, part of me was like, okay, maybe, let's see if there's a chance that he did do it. Maybe he did molest Wade Robson. Maybe he did molest James Safechuck. Let's look at the movie here. 30 minutes into the movie, I already knew this was bullshit. I was like, okay, yeah, this didn't happen. This didn't happen. So, I was already tuned out, all that, because too many things could be easily debunked. So, because so many things were already debunked to begin with, the next hour and a half or 2.5 hours was going to be pointless to me. So, but I was open to hear their story. Now, some people, they're like, I don't want to hear because it's not true. Okay. Even though I don't believe that Michael Jackson was a pedophile, I'm going to hear the other side. Because maybe that side is actually going to make me believe even more that Michael Jackson was not a pedophile. And I find it very hard to believe that Michael Jackson was such a serial pedophile, that why is it that there's only 2 people going after Michael and not like a shitload of others, like with the Harvey Weinstein effect? When Kevin Spacey's accuser came out, others came out. Harvey Weinstein. Dozens and dozens came out. James Toback. Others and others came out. I just find it, but with Michael, you only have these 2 guys. For somebody, they say that he was a serial rapist, a serial predator. Usually, a serial predator are people that cannot stop themselves from going from one victim to another. This is some like Ted Bundy shit. But that wasn't the case with Michael Jackson here. So I find it hard to believe that he was a pedophile. And I look at it as the way I look at it is what does the evidence show? What is the common sense here? What does his body language say? And what do their body language say? And what does their side of the story say? And does it add up? You know? And they say sometimes I always say this. Sometimes no evidence is the evidence. They say like, well, what do you mean by that? I said sometimes. Sometimes no evidence means evidence. For example, let's say in my room, clean, my room is clean, vacuumed it, everything's all straightened out. I come out of my room and I tell my brother, I tell him, hey, our next door neighbor came inside the house. He was in my room. He killed himself. He pulled out a gun. He killed himself. There's blood everywhere. He's on the ground dead and brains are splattered everywhere. My brother comes to my room and he sees there's nothing. There's nothing there. Call the police. The police come. They look around. There's nothing there. No blood, no DNA, no evidence of anybody being there other than me. Not just evidence, but proof. So I just made up a lie. Two things either happen. Either I lied, or I'm a schizophrenic person that saw something or felt something that wasn't there and didn't happen. And I couldn't tell the difference between what was real and what was not. So those are two possibilities. But just because I said something happened there, that doesn't mean it didn't happen. The evidence is that no one was there. That was the evidence. And you look at this timeline of Michael Jackson, they said Michael Jackson molested me on this day, right here, in this year, when Michael Jackson wasn't even in Neverland Ranch at that time. He was either in New York, he was either in Europe. So it was always things like that that just never made sense. So when you have so many things, so many like errors, contradictions, and you know, leaps of time and time confusion, all of that, you begin to question and say, okay, is this person even legit? But they try to go graphic with the description and they try to reel you in with the emotions. That's how they get you. Americans are like that. Americans are very dumb people. And I'm saying that as an American. We don't speak, we don't think individually. We don't. I mean, it's human nature in general to hop on bandwagons like everybody else because we want to be part of a group. We want to feel like we belong to something. But most of the times, you got to be on your own to have your own view and belief. And just because a whole group of people may believe in something, that doesn't mean that thing is true. I mean, you got a whole group of people that believe the earth is flat, that the moon landing was fake, or those that believe that 9/11 was not an inside job, or people that thought that we won the Vietnam conflict. You know, you can believe whatever you want to believe in, but what do the facts show? What is the common sense here? The argument that Michael Jackson is guilty in the eyes of the public is that he was weird, a man in his 40s having sleepovers with young boys. He had an arrested development issue. He was always obsessed with, as Michael Jackson said, elementary things. He must be a pedophile. That's not evidence. And that's not necessarily common sense. Because he wasn't a normal person. That's another thing. We see it from the perspective of an average 40-year-old man. Michael Jackson was not average. He was actually above average. He was, it's when people say, oh, Michael Jackson gets a pass. He actually does get a pass in this case. Not because of his celebrity status, but of his upbringing, where he comes from, his mentality, his behavior, the culture, all of those things combined. That's where he gets the pass because he's not the normal or average person. He's not. So the whole average normal comparison goes out the window because most of us, we couldn't even last probably a day living his life. Probably couldn't handle that. I mean, being abused by your father, being slandered by the tabloids, getting your hair caught on fire, getting addicted to those drugs, those pain killers, having severe insomnia, you can't sleep, dealing with death threats from people that are, uh, you know, breaking into your home, people parachuting down from the sky to come to your property on Neverland Ranch, you know? And people say Michael Jackson was guilty. Like, why does a person have a highly secured property, so many alarms, secret pathways, doors? Man, if I was like Michael Jackson, I wouldn't even have to be famous, okay? Just me as a person, because I'm very, uh, I don't like being in the dark. Like, I'll just put it that way. I don't like, I like staying up at night, like being awake at night, okay? I'm very paranoid when it comes, nighttime. So if I had a lot of money, I'd make my home a fortress. My home would be Fort Knox, Area 51, level security. Okay, I don't want any strangers coming in. I'll probably stack up some weapons, get some lasers, all that stuff, the whole nine, everything. Probably have 10 German Shepherds or something, and have some bodyguards if I was a celebrity like that. Because you gotta remember, Michael Jackson was more famous than the President of the United States. Michael Jackson is literally the second most famous human being behind Jesus. You got people in Afghanistan, and even some people from North Korea, the Hermit Kingdom, that know who Michael Jackson is. Isn't that crazy? Somehow, Michael Jackson made his way through to a communist country that cuts itself off from the Western world. That's crazy. Where it's actually a crime to actually listen or watch any Western content, but somehow a Western artist's notoriety made its way through. It's very interesting. But I digress. Do I believe this all of this is over? I don't think so. I think it only ends when there's a confession. I think there will be a confession, mainly on James Safechuck. I think James Safechuck will confess. I'm gonna give it 5 years. 5 years at the least for a confession to come out. Because I think that guilt is gonna eat them up, and um, when they realize they didn't get any money from it, they can't get any money from it. I think they're gonna get tired of it, and then they're just gonna come out. And with Wade Robson, him being a narcissistic, arrogant, self-indulgent person, that would probably make him even relevant, since he was all about becoming relevant. So he says, well, that didn't make me relevant. My relevance is gone. So maybe I could bring my relevance back by saying it didn't happen. And I'm going to write a book on why I did it, why I attacked Michael. It's probably going to be like that. Or why I lied. Who knows? He could do that. He could. You never know. But I do believe there is going to be a confession, mainly from Safechuck, or maybe even from Robson. But I think the first person that's going to crack is going to be James Safechuck. So, yeah. So those are my thoughts. I'm happy with this news. I knew it was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. It just wasn't even, this is just a waste of time, the way I see it. Wade Robson, he's wanting to get a check, but I'm pretty sure he's losing more money than what he is gaining. This man is probably losing a lot of money. He's running out of options. It's going to be to the point he doesn't have any options. That's the way I see it. So, yeah, I think the saga will still continue of these allegations. I think probably in what year? 2021. I'm pretty sure in 2029, some other controversy is going to come up for the 20th anniversary of Michael's death. Something might happen. Who knows? Maybe the public will be, tired of the bullshit. And as time goes by, more and more people are actually believing that Michael Jackson's innocent because of how easily accessible information is today. And people are getting tired of being lied to the media, being lied by the media. They're getting tired of it. So now they know it's harder to take things at face value now. So who knows? All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. Hope you're all safe, healthy, live long and prosper, and may the force be with you.